Hi folks, Des Phoebe, Franchise Entrepreneur podcast, and I'm videoing this as well. So this is a bit off the cuff. I don't have any of my notes with me because I'm walking the dog and it's a lovely evening, so I thought I'd smash this podcast out as well whilst videoing it. So last week I spoke about VAT and Help Out to Eat Out. I said I was going to let you know about all the things that we've been doing post-lockdown. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So yeah, we've been pretty busy. Not been busy on social media, as you would have noticed, for a number of reasons, but I won't go into that. I think I touched on it last week. But same as everyone else. Look, when this hit, you know, we had some plans, we had some preparation, but obviously it was all about let's consolidate, let's make sure we don't go out of business, let's do the best we can, and that's what we did. However, you know, one of the things that I did do pretty early on was I kind of looked back on memories, on past experience, and looked at it and thought, right, okay, what did I learn from the last recession? Because I knew pretty much straight away, and a lot of people, it didn't sink in for quite a while. They were so involved with the pandemic and what it was actually doing and the effect it was having on their day-to-day business and their day-to-day life that they didn't realise what was coming right behind it. I knew, and I was pretty damn certain what was going to come, recession. So I've been through a recession before. I thought, right, okay, what can I learn from that? What did I learn last time round? Where's the opportunities? What do I need to look out for in terms of making sure I don't overextend myself? You know, what are the priorities? You know, etc., etc. So very early on, advised the strategy of looking at what happened last time. Franchising boomed last time. You know, different recession for different reasons, but nonetheless it was a recession. And people lose jobs in a recession. And the reality is when people lose jobs in recession and they've got equity in their houses, which a lot of people had in 2008, a lot of people have got now. There's going to be redundancies. There is money swishing around in the system. Make no mistake about it. People get very disillusioned about being an employee when they get dumped on the unemployment pile, and they look for alternatives, and that's why franchising starts to pick up and boom. And this is no different. So I looked at what's franchises done really well in the last recession, what's likely to do well this time. Of course there's a pandemic as well, so you know, trying to take that into account as well, trying to take where it's hitting, what locations. One size doesn't fit all sort of cap. So you might say, well, look, coffee shops do really well, but coffee shops aren't doing bloody well in London city centre at the moment, are they? So it's obviously comes with a little bit of a caveat. But coffee shops are one of the brands that do, and concepts that do really well in a recession. So we have taken a franchise, a master franchise for a coffee brand, only a small one, but we know that we can develop it and we know it'll be popular. We've taken a overseas franchise, which we've never done before. We've never taken on anyone else's brands, called Crepe Delicious, one of the biggest crepe brands in the world, maybe even the biggest. It will be very popular because it crosses into coffee, it can cross into ice cream, it can cross into sandwiches. You know, it's multifaceted, multi-revenue streamed, easy to fit out, easy to locate, multiple different kind of locations that you can put this in. So yeah, it's looking really, you know, looking really good as a concept. So that was one of them as well. So we've been busy. We signed that one up literally post-lockdown. I think lockdown finished, you know, beginning of July. We had that signed up in that period, but we've been working on it for a little while on both of those. We also looked at our own major brand, which is Wok and Go. Again, does well in recession, but what we find with Wok and Go is sometimes, because it's actually more technically difficult, that you get people that are really, really interested in it. You've done a lot of work to warm them up for Wok and Go, and then they don't do it because they're a bit concerned that it's a bit more technical than they thought and a bit more difficult. It might even be a bit more expensive than they thought. And then you lose those warmed up inquiries. So having a bigger brand base enables us to keep a lot more people interested in one of our brands. We've also got a burrito brand as well, chicken brand. You know, we've got a number of brands, the pizza one. So now we've got a big portfolio across numerous different concepts that we can offer to anyone that potentially came in looking at Walk and Go but doesn't now want Walk and Go, and instead of them walking away, we keep them interested. So that's been really good, and that's a strategic move from us. That was a deliberate move in order to increase our conversions. We've spent a lot of money on pushing our brands and marketing. We're going to continue to spend money on that. So we're not backing away from marketing like a lot of people have done. We're actually upping our game and have done. A lot of inquiries for the business. We've opened up 2 new Walk and Goes since reopening, which is pretty good, since July, from our London master franchise. We've got another one signed up. We're opening up another Walk and Go in Macclesfield. We've got 2 really exciting announcements potentially over the next couple of weeks for master franchises. You know, a lot is happening. It doesn't mean that there aren't issues. It doesn't mean that there aren't challenges. Of course there are. We're in a very, very difficult period. But one of the strategic plans that I made was that not to shy away and to be brave and try and look at the positives from this, because there are positives, there are opportunities, and that's one of the things that came out of the last recession, that every cloud has that silver lining. I know it's an old saying, but you know, it happens to be true. Not for everyone, I appreciate that. But you have to have two strategies over this period. One of them is quite simple: survival, right? And that's the reality. You need to survive this. So you have to do all of the basics. And as part of my bigger strategy, it's basically, there's two points here. One, we need to survive. One, we need to consolidate. One, we need to preserve cash and create more cash and do all the basics that we should have been doing before, but do them even better now, because we can't afford to fuck up. Basically, we cannot afford to have 2 or 3 bad months. We're getting the tax benefits, we're getting business rate benefits. We need to max out as much as we possibly can, create as much cash in the business as we possibly can, because it's going to be bloody tough. It is tough, right? You know, we're still trading at probably, you know, 20-30% down on most of our stores, except probably our restaurants. You know, so I'm talking about the fast food. That's a lot. In the normal circumstances, we'd be screwed, you know, but we are pretty confident that, you know, we can lift those sales up. And then in some of the other stores, you know, they're actually 20-30% up. So, you know, it's a real mixed bag out there. It really does depend on where you are location wise. So, you know, opportunities exist. So, you know, I'm rambling a little bit here, but as I said, there's 2 strategies here. You know, I've never had to do this before. You've got one on one side here, and that's survival, right? That's your primary objective. That's your first strategy. Your second strategy completely is counterintuitive, and it contradicts the first one, because you're actually growing, because your other strategy is about growth. So what we're looking at there on one of our brands in particular is conversions. A lot of businesses are going out of business, or they're closing stores. So, you know, you've heard Pizza Express, Prezzo. Oh, you know what? There's too many for me to actually even name. But the opportunity is there, is that these guys spend 600, 700, 800,000 pounds on shop fits. They walk away from them, and I mean walk away from them. They're nearly almost fully fitted. So we're doing deals with landlords to do quick conversions on cheaper rents, on beneficial terms to us, because landlords are in their shit as well, and they're looking to do deals and they need tenants. And we're walking into some of these, you know, for our pizza concept, our Neapolitan pizza and bar concept called Dodo, and we're fitting them out for, you know, tens of thousands, you know, not a lot of money in the context of things, and getting them up and running. Now we've just signed up 2 deals, one in Warrington, one in Derby. That won't be the end of them. There'll be plenty more coming about. It's a risk. It absolutely is a risk, because who's to say that we can do a better job than Prezzo or Las Iguanas or whoever, other than that we've reduced some of the overheads, but we've still got to pay the same rates, you know, because the rate reviews haven't been done. So it's all about, can we do it more efficiently? Can we be more popular than them? And there is a risk, but we mitigate that risk by setting them up as new companies. So, you know, worst case scenario is that we've wasted a bit of cash on it and we've not been able to operate it, and we've had to walk away from it. But, you know, I don't think that's going to be the case, but it is a risk. But you can see where I'm coming from in terms of it's contradictory to the first strategy. It's all about growth. It's all about growing in a very, very difficult market that none of us can predict. None of us. You know, some of our locations that we're taking on, you know, could be perceived as being risky. Some of them are in, say, spa towns. We're not taking anything in what I would call a metropolitan city centre. You know, yes, we're doing something in Warrington city centre, but it's not a metropolitan city centre that have got loads and loads of office blocks, and those are the ones that are having a really difficult time. We won't do those, not for the moment anyway. So, you know, there is a judgment call, as with every part of business. I think our strategy is sound. Like I said, you know, it's two different elements of it, but we've been working on this all the way through lockdown. So it's not a snap judgment here. It was looking at what was happening. It was looking at what happened in the last recession. And, you know, the funny thing is that Pizza Express have announced a lot of closures. Pizza Express followed this very similar strategy last recession, where they snapped up a load of sites for very big expansion and took the market. You know, we're hoping to do something in a much smaller way. They've obviously just become a very tired brand, and they obviously then overexpose themselves in terms of debt. We don't have debt in our business, so or very little. So, you know, it's a family-run business. So those are the kind of things we've been working on. It's not just that. We opened up another new company, Phoebe Food Consulting, and so we now officially do consulting for other businesses that want to franchise their business. So if you're one of those and you would like to franchise your business, then come and have a chat with us. We obviously specialise in hospitality, but you know, franchising is franchising. It's a system, and it can be transferable across sectors. So quite happy to talk to anyone about that, but especially if you're in hospitality, of course. I do my mentoring, which I'm currently doing as well. So I've stepped up on my mentoring and doing a bit more of that for individuals, people that are in the sector, people who want to know a bit more about entrepreneurship or just setting out on entrepreneurship and thinking I can help them. Happy to help on there as well. So, you know, that's something I've grown as well. But PFC Consulting is a new company. We've, oh God, what else have we been doing? You know, we've done dark kitchens. We've been doing dark kitchens for years. But we sold a whole bunch of dark kitchens, or all of our brands, to Bahrain for them to operate as dark kitchens. We created another dark kitchen concept, which was around chicken, because we had a gap in our portfolio. We didn't have a chicken concept, so we've created one of those. Wow, what else have we done? Shop fit company to do all our shop fits. We were doing it internally. Now we're offering that service to other people as well. So we can do all of our own shop fits, all of our other brands as well. You know, it's all about creating other revenue streams. You know, one of the things that came out of my strategy was quite simply that whichever way you look at it, I was exposed and vulnerable because all of my business was related to Wok and Go mainly, and mainly one brand, and all in the food sector, regardless of what I was doing. So we created a consultancy business, as I said. We've got the shop fit business. We've also created a virtual assistant business, because guess what? People aren't in the office, are they? People need help in terms of taking some of the basic administrative tasks and marketing away from them. So virtual assistants, growing market. So we created a virtual assistant business as well. What else did we do? I bought another franchise. Again, you know, and I actually bought this one, which is very unusual for me to buy someone else's franchising, but we were looking at creating a business network for the business and using some of our expertise in operational side of things, hospitality and things like that. In the end, I joined a business network and liked it so much, I bought 2 of their franchises for 2 of their locations. So Chester and Liverpool, I bought 2 business network franchises called Real 5. So if you're local to either of those, then look them up. Recommend, of course, to join those. So they are business referral networks. Obviously, again, quite difficult at the moment to meet up. You know, we did have our first face-to-face a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, and now Boris Johnson has stuffed that up again for us by announcing his limitations on the numbers. So we're having to rethink that and reorganize and come up with innovative ways of still conducting face-to-face but staying compliant and safe and all the rest of it, which we've done. But again, it was about creating another revenue stream into the business, not just for the short term but for the long term as well. And I think it's a really good one, because guess what people are going to want to do when they come out of all this shit? They're going to want to sit down, talk to each other and network, because human beings are social animals. That's the reality of it. We're social animals. So, again, I'm taking a punt on that. These aren't big bucks in terms of what they're generating in terms of money, but I actually think they've got a good future and they've got potential to earn decent revenues going forward. And they also have a lot of synergies with my business as well. Take for example Liverpool Network. Guess where we're going to host that? We're going to host that in one of my restaurants. So my restaurant gets a lot of promotion with local businesses, etc. I'm networking with local businesses. I can promote my business. I can also promote some of my other services as well. I'm in control of the narrative. So, it's thinking things through in a very difficult time. Sometimes just do what I'm doing now. You just go for a walk and have a think about things, clear your head. It's difficult, especially if you've been locked up with your family and your kids and all the stresses of everyday life. Sometimes you just need a bit of me time to just clear your head, come up with different strategies and different ways of creating some sort of initiatives within your business. So that's probably, how many different businesses is that? I think I've got 12 companies now. Some of them are very new and not generating a lot of revenue at the moment, but I think it's got a lot of potential and will generate revenue. We're looking to do something in property before the end of the year. And when I say something in property, again, we're looking at where the weaknesses are in a business. And the reality is that, guess what? We actually rent a house that costs us a bloody fortune in Liverpool for our staff, our employees, mainly our chefs, to live in. We do charge them a bit for that, but it doesn't cover the expenses and it costs a lot of money. We've been doing it for years. It's bloody stupid. So, our first foray into property will be in Liverpool to buy a fixer-upper and put our employees into that and be able to make a bit of money from it as well, because what they will pay for, because there's 7, 8 of them in there, will more than cover the mortgage, and we'll come out the other side pulling some money back into it and pulling another revenue into it. So, and it's a safe one, because obviously we can control who's going in it. We know how many people are going to be in it, because they're always going to be in it, because of the way in which we operate our business and have a staff house. So it's pretty safe bet for us to do that one. And it means that we can learn how to do a bit of property speculation. So again, we're thinking things through, and I think we're making sensible decisions on these things. So there's an awful lot going on there, isn't there? It's funny when you actually start talking about it and listing it. I'm sure I've missed a few things out as well. As I said, I'm walking along, so I'm doing this ad lib, so forgive me if it's not as fluent as maybe as it should be. And plus I'm walking the dog, so I've got to keep an eye on the dog, and she just keeps disappearing. So in the moment, I think she's in the cornfields chasing rabbits. Right, so what else have we done? By the way, this isn't about boasting about all the stuff that we've done. This is simply about saying that, I'm just informing you about some of the things that we've been doing. We've been active. And if you haven't been that active, don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel bad about it. If what you've had to do is consolidate and you've just been focused on your business, then you know what, that's your priority. If that's what you've needed to do, then crack on. A lot of people have not survived this, and a lot of people won't survive it. So guess what, if you come out of this time next year and you are still around, you've done bloody well. And I think I'll pat myself on the back included if that's the case for us, and all of these kind of strategies, or some of them, pay off, because I'm sure some of them won't. But You know, for us, that was the way forward. This is what I wanted to do. There's an opportunity here, learning from what's happened in the past, taking that forward, building a strategy around it, building a couple of strategies. One that was about consolidating, staying in business and safeguarding the business, whilst at the same time looking for the opportunities and seeing where they are. You know, we're going to be in a very, very difficult period over the next few months, over the next 6 months. I don't think we've seen anywhere near the bottom of this. So, you know, we've taken on a few extra sites. I mean, in terms of extra sites, I mean, if we look at the actual growth of what the whole of the business is going through, as I said, we've opened up 2 Walk and Goes. We've got another Walk and Go to open. We've signed up another one. We've got potential. Walk and Go's growth this year will be somewhere in the region of 35%. That's phenomenal. In terms of store numbers, revenue will be a bit lower than that, but you know, that's pretty impressive. Then we've got Dodo, which is, you're talking about 300% growth. You know, new brands as well. So, you know, you put it all together. I think I worked out earlier that our overall store growth and overall revenues are going to grow somewhere in the region of 40 to 50%. Now, obviously revenues aren't profits, but you know, it's not bad, is it? You know, I'm very conscious that whilst I'm talking about this, is that, you know, people don't take this the wrong way, that I'm gloating or anything like that, because I'm not, because I'm shitting myself just like the rest of you. Because I'm not just sitting back and saying, okay, let's just consolidate, keep our money where it is. I'm also going, well, okay, I've got some money in the bank. What can I do to maximize the potential return on investment there? But what if it goes wrong? You know, I'm putting myself under pressure and putting myself in a difficult position, and it could go very wrong for me. So please don't take this the wrong way in that I'm gloating or saying, oh, look at me, look how well we're doing. I'm not. I'm just saying this is my strategy. If you can learn something from it and maybe take something from it, or you might just go, you're fucking mad, mate. What the hell are you doing? You should be battening down the hatches here. So that's not the case. It's a risk that I'm taking. I think it's one worth taking. I think it's got merit. I think it holds up. But look, this is how I operate. It's not for everyone. And if you're not comfortable with doing something like that, please don't do it, because it's a high pressured strategy. You know, there's a lot of pressure with this. It's not about looking for safety. This is about pushing the boundaries and taking risks and hoping to God and to everything else, and keeping your fingers crossed that everything goes your way, or more goes your way than goes against you. So let's wait and see. You can hear my dog just running around there, so that's not me heavy breathing, by the way. You know, I'm not one of those kind of creepy guys. Well, at least I don't think I am anyway. It is the dog, honest. So yeah, that's it, guys and girls. I'm sure I've probably left a couple of bits off, but I mean, I think you get the general gist that we've been pretty busy and continue to be busy, and I think it's actually going to accelerate over the next few months. I feel sorry for my operations director, because guess who gets to implement a lot of this, eh? So we're also building our team up as well, you know, because we have to, which again in itself is a bloody risk, because it's an overhead. So, you know, we need to get these new sites open pretty quickly, because we are building costs, which is exactly what you don't want to be doing in this in these times. So wish me luck, and I will talk to you again next week for the next podcast, The Franchise Entrepreneur. And don't let your reality of today get in the way of your dreams. And that's maybe why I'm doing all of this, because I'm hoping and trying to stick to my dreams and not allowing the reality of today get in the bloody way of them. So, you know, only time will tell whether I am right or wrong. So take care, speak to you next week, and we'll have a nice conversation again. Cheers, bye.